Hi, I'm Debbie and this is Book and BuJo. And welcome if you're new, welcome back if you've been here before. This is the place where I talk all things books, bullet journals, and stationery. And today is a mid-month check-in. Let's see how I'm doing halfway through the month of March. What have I read so far in March? Well, I've read quite a bit. I actually have already returned a couple books to the library, and that was Middlemarch. So I had that one physically, and I listened to it audibly, and I also have, for some reason, I have 2 copies of it on my Kindle. I'm not sure how I wound up with 4 copies for the month, but there we go. It was actually very good. Parts of it were very frustrating and irritating. You know, that one character you just want to smack them upside the head because, and the just talk to each other people, that is very much in this book too. But it's just with specific characters, not like the overall everything of it. The book is very charming and endearing, and it reminded me a lot of the writing style of Jane Austen. So if you like Jane Austen's books, you will most likely like Middlemarch. And don't be intimidated by the page count. The one I actually read was only 818 instead of like 912 pages. It really just depends on the font size and the size of the book. Even though it's a classic, the writing style is fairly easy to read. There wasn't any times when I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying, which sometimes happens to me when reading classics, but then I just call my sister and be like, what are they talking about? But yes, it was very enjoyable. I definitely enjoyed Middlemarch. And then Middlemarch for Realmathon, here's my plus and minus points. I was able to get a total of 75 points, negative points, to go against another team in Realmathon. So that was very fun. It's not often I get quite that many, but this one was great. This one had, get to the negative side here, an isolated setting. They were in a small remote town, and that gives you a negative 5 points. It also had a one-word title, because Middlemarch was all one word. It was the name of the community. And that was a minus 3 points. Published before 2018, most definitely. That was another negative 3 points. And then we had book featuring a romance. It actually has multiple romances in it. That was another negative 2 points. And lastly, because you get to pick 5, it was featuring a book featuring death. And there is some death in that book. And that's another negative 2 points. So that gave me a total of negative 15 points. But the copy I had also had 50% white on the cover, so that's another 10 points towards team time. And there was an object on the cover, which was another 10 points, and it was over 800 pages, so that was an additional 40 points for team time. So woohoo, go team time. Of course, I had a couple other books that I was struggling to find any points for, but at least I got a really good one there. The first book that I read and finished in March was actually an ARC copy, which is an advanced reader's copy for those who aren't sure what that means. And that was Heart of a Valkyrie, which is the first book in the Road to Valhalla series by Melanie Karsak. And that one was a 5-star. I thoroughly enjoyed that book. It's set in Iceland, and it's part of the Norse mythology, that series that Melanie Karsak writes so well. And I just thoroughly enjoyed it. We follow a female protagonist that is very headstrong and knows what she should be doing and goes out and does it, and I love that. And it was just written really well. The atmosphere was spot on to the time period she was writing in, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Go pick up yourself a copy and give it a read. Her second book in the series, I believe, comes out either later this year, September-ish. Either that or it comes out early 2025. I'm thinking it comes out in September, so check that out. And for Realmathon, that gave me a total of 36 points for team time. So to the positive side now. We had a 5-star read. Definitely, it was very good. I was thinking it was more of a 4.5 star, but as soon as I ran it through Compile, it was a 5 stars. And then we have a required read, which is 3 points. The 5-star read is 5 points, so another 3 points for a required read because I did need to read that before the book came out, which was on March 5th. And then a popcorn read plus 3 points, and unbeknownst to me, because I hadn't actually looked at this first, I actually read that while I was snacking on popcorn, which was kind of fun. And then the next day I read through this, so I was like, yay, that works. So I'm gonna have to make sure I have popcorn while I'm reading a bunch of other books too, just in case I can get those extra 3 points. Also got even amount of letters in the title, so that's another 3 points. And lastly, we had new to my TBR, because I had actually totally forgotten that I had signed up to request this arc, and I ended up getting a week before the release date, so it was brand new to my TBR. It was very unexpected. Dropped everything to read it, and that gave me another 2 points. So a total of 16 points, and then there was an object on the cover, so another 10 points, and it was 290 pages, which is another 10 points towards team time. Next I read Night Watch by Terry Pratchett, which is the 29th book in the Discworld series. And I did finish this one. It was very fun, and this entire book is based on time. There's a lot of time stuff happening, so that was unexpected and very cool because I'm on team time. So we follow, of course, the Night Watch and Commander Vimes and all of the fun dudes that are part of the Night Watch. And this one, unfortunately, I struggled to find points for this one, but I was able to collect 12 points against a competitor team for Realmathon. And we started with a book featuring revenge, so that was -2 points. A book featuring death, another -2 points. A book published before 2018, definitely, these are in the 90s and early 2000s. And then lastly, so we do have a time on the cover right up here. So the cover features, it does say the title has the team word in it. So it does have time right up here on the cover. I was thinking it was cover, but it also talks about night, which is a time of day. And the whole book is about time. So I counted that. If you want to come at me, let me know, and I can take away points from another book if need be. But night is time of day, so that is a team related word, and again it has the word time on it as well. So that was -16 points against a different team, but there's also a couple of objects on the cover. So we have angels and we have this little medallion here, and so that's another 10 points. And then the book had over 400 pages, so that's another 20 points for team time. Next up, I read The Rachel Incident by Carolyn O'Donoghue, and this is the group read for the Irish Readathon, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I had no idea quite what it was going to be about. I knew it was about like a friend group, that kind of thing, and that was about it. And it was great. It was hilarious at times, it was heartbreaking at times, it was endearing and heartwarming at times, and it was great. Rachel lives in Cork with her family, and she goes to work at a bookshop, and she's been working there for a while, and a new hire comes in, and his name is James, and they end up becoming best friends, and this is the story of their friendship for the first couple of years, and then on into, it kind of fast forwards a bit into their future lives. And this was really good. I highly recommend this. I can see why the co-hosts of the Irish Readathon have read this a couple of times. It's definitely worth a read. Let's see what we get for Realmathon. So I did get positive points. I haven't put this through Compile yet, but I have a feeling this is going to come out more as a 4.5 and not a 5-star, so I did not count the 5-star read for this one, even though that could have got me 5 points, but gotta be true. So I got 4 points for social media scroll, because when I was scrolling through Goodreads, this was on there because a lot of people are reading it for the Irish Readathon. a required read. It was a requirement for the Irish Readathon. And a popcorn read. This is another one that I read whilst eating popcorn. I've had a popcorn a couple times this month already. And it was new to my TBR. I had not heard about this one before the announcement for the Irish Readathon, so that was another 2 points. And it was a buddy read for, again, the Irish Readathon. If you have a chance, definitely pick this one up. It's not super long. So unfortunately, I mean, there is, well, I guess I could have counted that. I didn't think about that. I kept looking at the cover, but the spine and the back are 50, I mean, this is 100% and this is at least 50%. So the book definitely has 50% white on the cover, so I could have counted that. I didn't think about that. So maybe that'll counteract the Night Watch one, just in case I flipped that one. So there we go. But I could have gotten an extra 10 points for this, for white on the cover, because for Team Time, our covers, we get extra points if they are white. And then I did get school setting, because she is in college. There's interactions with the professors and some other things with the school in here. So I did get the extra points for school setting. No object on the cover, unfortunately. And I did get an extra 10 points for the page count because it's just under 300 pages. Next, I read The Winterhouse Mysteries by Ben Gooderson, and this is the third and final book in the Winterhouse series, and this is such a great series. So it is a middle grade, which is not always my favorite, but this one is super fun because it's got some mysteries and the characters are all so interesting, and there's magic and puzzles and lots of fun stuff as part of it. This is the first time I've actually had the physical book for it. The other two I had just as an audiobook, and this one I did audiobook and physical book, and I am so glad I found the physical book at my library because there are pictures throughout the book, and they also have 2-page spread pictures, which is really fun. So Winterhouse is basically like a hotel, and a lot of people come for Christmas and Easter and other holidays to just spend some time at Winterhouse, go skiing and just enjoy the hiking and sights and just getting away and relaxing, and it's just super fun. And I don't want to say too much about this particular book because they'd be spoilers for the other 2 books in the series, but definitely pick it up. I have not completely run it through everything for Realmathon, but there's not a whole lot going for this one that's on the Realmathon. I think I'm probably going to only get about 9 points around there. I think I did just a quick glance. I think I'm only going to get about 9 points, but there are objects on the cover. So there's a lamp here, there's a lamp here, of course there's a fireplace, there's a candlestick, there's artwork, so we definitely have objects on the cover. There is white, but it's not 50% white, most definitely. So I won't get those points, and there's nothing about time in here. I mean, unless you want to take winter as a season, but I think that's stretching it more than using the word night. So next I read, so I've already read quite a few books already, The Girl in the Tower, which is the second book in the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden, and I loved The Bear and the Nightingale. That was such a great book. I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars, and I read that a few years ago, and I loved it. I loved it. And this one I loved as well. I think I liked The Bear and the Nightingale a tad better, but I really enjoyed this one as well. It's a little bit different type of storyline, and of course Vasya is the main character, and she's older in this book now. The first book she's quite young, and she's definitely a bit older in this one, and we still have some family members and other people that you recognize from the first book in here. So yeah, I think the little synopsis in here is probably the best way to go for letting you know what happened in the first book, especially since it's been a few years since I read it, and my memory is not so great. I've read a lot of books since then. So Vasilisa is our irresistible heroine, and she has grown up at the edge of a Russian wilderness where snowdrifts reach the eaves of her family's wooden house, and there is truth in the fairy tales told around the fire. Vasilisa's gift for seeing what others do not won her the attention of Morozko, or Frost, the winter demon from the stories, and together they saved her people from destruction. But Frost's aid comes at a cost, and her people have condemned her as a witch. It's a great read. Highly recommend this series, and I cannot wait to get to the third book, and I don't know why it took me so long to get to the second book. Pick it up. Give it a read. And again, I haven't put this through Compile yet, and I've just kind of skimmed the Realmathon, and I think this one also is only going to get about 9 points. Luckily, both Winterhouse and The Girl in the Tower are over 300 pages at least. This one's over 300. So that will give me another 10 or so points. And this one's also 300, so another 10 points just for that. There is objects on the cover, so we've got the building, we've got sun coming up, we've got the horse. So we do, and we've got some snow coming down. So we do have some objects on the cover, so that's another 10 points, even though the rest of the prompts will only probably give me about 9. But there's more books to come. What am I currently reading? So I'm currently reading Ireland by Wendy McElroy. This is a nonfiction book, and oddly enough, last year I read a nonfiction for the Irish Readathon, and it was more of like a political paper, so that was a little harder to read through and comprehend. It was very legalistically written, and so it was a little hard to understand, but I got the gist of it. And this book actually mentions some of the information from that paper, but it's more like it's a news story, like a Dateline kind of thing, something like that. So it's a little easier to understand, and it's got multiple narrators. So you have an overall narrator, and then when you get to "and this person said," and when they do like a little snippet from a speech or something, they would have someone else read that in the particular accent, whether it was someone from England or Ireland or America. And so far it's very interesting. I'm only about 45 minutes into it. It's just under 3 hours audiobook, and about 45 minutes into it, but I'm enjoying that one. It's really interesting. It gives a lot of good history of that time period. And I am still reading Flip by David Estes, which is the third and final book in the Slip series. I'm on page 235, so about 63% of the way through. I'm loving it. I can tell we're getting close to the conclusion, and it's hard to put down. I want to keep reading it. I'm also reading Artemis Fowl by Ian Colfer, and this is also for the Irish Readathon. It's to read an Irish author. That's a children's book, and so that's this one. So I'm just over halfway through, and so far this one's really fun too. It has a somewhat Rick Riordan type of a feel to it. So if you like the Percy Jackson series, you'd probably like the Artemis Fowl series as well, and vice versa. And it has all these really cool symbols and writing at the bottom, which is kind of fun. So I'm definitely enjoying this one. Artemis Fowl is a millionaire. He's also a genius, and he's 12 years old. So his mom is not quite all there, and his dad is missing, and he starts out so far as not the best guy out there. Not the nicest 12-year-old there is. Right now he's kidnapped someone, and we're gonna see what happens after that. But I am enjoying it. It's very fun, and it's got some really good humor in it. And then of course you have elves and trolls and leprechauns and humans and lots of fun different races. And then the last book that I'm currently reading, I think it's just, yes, four books. Okay, so I just started Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte, and this is for the BuJo Buddies book club with Jashi Curran. And I've only gotten through the introduction so far, so I'm on page 8, so not very far into the book at all. But I'm hoping to read chapter 1 today, and then read a chapter a day through the end of the month, because I don't want to like blast through this. I want to try and, again, the nonfiction books that I'm reading, I'm trying to actually comprehend and apply to my life so it can change me and help me to grow and become a better, more efficient person overall. And so that's my goal for my nonfiction, especially self-help style books. All right, what's next? Spring into reading, Readathon. I'm doing pretty good. I actually do have a bingo. So I have a bingo, yeah, I have a bingo on this side. So we have Let It Shine. I read the Winterhouse Mysteries. For Luck of the Irish, I read Heart of a Valkyrie. For Love is in the Air, the Rachel Incident. For Friendship Bracelets, I read Heart of a Valkyrie because you can double up, triple up, quadruple up, etc. on prompts for the same book. And then drink your favorite iced beverage. I just had a nice cool ginger beer. It was delicious and just hit the spot. Loved it. I am close for getting a bingo this way. So I have Let It Shine was the Winterhouse Mysteries road trip. I read Middlemarch, t-shirt contest. I'm probably not going to end up getting that one. We'll see, because I didn't pick out a specific book for this. It's for a smutty book. If I happen to, one of the ones I happen to read might have something in there, then I'll use that. But if not, I'm not going to find a book for it. New Beginnings, Heart of a Valkyrie, Spring Cleaning. We have The Girl in the Tower. And then I'm only missing one here. So we have A Stormy Weather. That's the one. I don't have one yet. And I'm hoping to read The Name of All Things for that one. And then we have A Self-Care Day. And that one I did a nice little gua sha and jade roller on my face and neck area, and it was great. And Over the Rainbow was Middlemarch, and Flower Power is the Winterhouse Mysteries because it has flowers on the cover right down here. I don't know if you can see with the glare and the lighting there. It's a very gloomy day. We had hail yesterday. We're supposed to have some more rain today and tomorrow and the next day. So another like 4 days of rain. And that's the only ones I'm super close on. So I am kind of hoping that the group book here in the free space, which is Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa, I'm kind of hoping that might have a little bit of smutty stuff in it just to get that square, but I don't know. That one, we're getting close to reading that one. What do I still have to read? I still have The Name of All Things. I have The Shadow of the Fox that I still need to read. I have Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. And I have The Wee Free Men by Terry Pratchett. So those ones are all part of my TBR-opoly that I still need to read. Oh, as well as, almost forgot, The Mother of Learning. And then for the Irish Readathon, I still have Of Blood and Fire that I want to read. Oh, I also, on my Kindle, I still have to read Shiftless by Amy Easterling and Dare to Believe by Becky Dvorak, and those are both for my Kindle. I thought I was doing really well, but now that I'm looking at what I still need to read, I'm getting a little nervous. Hopefully I will be able to finish all of my books by the end of the month. Now, of course, we're halfway through. We still have another half of the month to go, so I should be okay. Some of these are still short, like Shiftless and Dare to Believe. Or Shiftless is under 200 pages. I mean, Daughter of the Deep's 352, Mother of Learning 644. So, I mean, I still have quite a few pages. Oh, and Agnes Grey. That's on here too. Another one that I still need to read. Well, so I still have 6 more books for my TBR that I need to read, as well as a few more for hopefully Realmathon, but also the Irish Readathon. There's 3 more for that one, and then whatever else I want to keep going, because of course, you know, I want to get a blackout for the bingo. But as long as I finish my main 6, then I will be happy, even though I'm like, why I'm reading 2 books for the Irish Readathon instead of books off my TBR right now, I don't know, but they were calling to me. So I had to read them. I'm getting better on my reviews. I'm catching up. I just have the ones I just finished here that I haven't done yet, so that makes me happy. And my new setup, oh, and for Buzzwordathon, I did finish that one because that was a character name in the title, and that was the Rachel incident. So I did read that one. And then for one of my characters for Adventures in Aeldia Readathon with G at Book Roast, I did finish that, and that was Night Watch. I still have one more to read, which is The Name of All Things, which is coming up next on my list. I did recently post my February wrap-up, so I will leave that up in the cards and then also down in the description box below if you want to check that one out. My larger calendar is definitely working better, and I am liking my little potion bottles for keeping track of which books I'm reading and how far I am on them. But yeah, I still have a lot of blank space over here for my dice there. But we're getting there. Keeping up and liking my reading journal setups. I do have all of these started. I do need to fill in some of the information on the books that I've completed, which I do plan to do in the next day or two. And that's about it for what's going on recently. Lots of handbell rehearsals going on, so definitely starting to get a little shoulder and wrist tiredness. But things are ramping up because we were playing at Easter. We have a concert at the end of April, so that's fun. I'll have to see if I can get some video so you could see ringing happening. And upcoming videos, I have my, of course, TBR Aeldia is coming. I have my bullet journal and my reading journal set up for April coming up. And I still have, so for my Bible reading tracker, I'm working on trying to get a couple templates in Canva done so that I can offer those down in the description box if you don't want to have to set up your own and you want to just use one of mine. I'm working on getting those set up, so I don't have that video quite ready yet. That will probably come out closer in May. We'll see. It may be something I just wait till closer towards the end of the year so you can just start it up at the new year, but we'll see. I'm not sure yet. I do have an unboxing coming up. I have a fairy loot box that's sitting over there that I'm just dying to open because I know what's in there and I really want to put it on my shelves and pick it up and read it and look at them. But I'm waiting for my subscription box from Page and Wick to come, which should be coming in the next couple of weeks. It should be here by the end of the month, of course. And that's where I got Sword of Kaigen and Of Things and War. So I can't wait to get to the next book up here. And I was finally able to get into the tier 2 with the broken binding. And we have the next book for April coming up for that too. So I'm kind of trying to wait on the unboxing and just do it all at once. We'll see. If the Page and Wick one doesn't come soon, I will probably do the unboxing of my fairy loot in whatever video comes next and just add it to it. So maybe with my TBR Aeldia, maybe I can add one of those books in there. So I'm already starting to plan all my books for my Readathons in April. There's Tomes and Treasures, which is a D&D based readathon, which sounds super fun, and I will leave that link down below if you want to participate. And then of course it's the magical readathon. It's the the spring equinox for Aurelium Academy, and that's with Gia Book Roast, and of course definitely taking part in that one because I have been participating in that one since the beginning and I ain't gonna stop now. So how is your reading month going so far for March? I would love to find out. Please let me know down in the comments below. And if you have read any of the books I've been reading, what were your thoughts on them? And for the Magical Readathon, Aurelium Academy, I am part of the Order of the Crescent. If you are also part of the Order of the Crescent, make sure you leave a crescent moon down below in the comments to let me know you were here. And if not, whatever Magical Readathon guild you are in, leave your icon down in the comments below. That will be fun to see what guild everyone is in. And if you're not taking part of any readathons at all, just give me a little wave in the comments below just to say hi and let me know you're here. And thanks for watching and for always coming and seeing what's happening in my life. And please like, comment, and subscribe if you want it, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other videos from me. And until next time, keep reading. Bye.